What's up, Noble Nation? This is Luke from the podcast room, work in progress. I know it's a continuation of, hey, we're going to do this podcast room, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We never know what we're going to do with this room. Like right now, I'm recording on a totally different camera. This is Canon R5, recording in high quality 4K, which is the most, the cleanest, sharpest 4K that this camera will produce as far as video goes. What's crazy is that this camera overheats, and we're gonna see if this camera overheats. I personally have never seen this camera overheat. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But primarily, we use this camera for wedding photography and not just videography, but just photography. It's got like a 45 megapixel sensor. It's fantastic. Love it so much. And the images, they speak for themselves, but they're very large, and they're very hard to edit when you are uploading into a hard drive. Yada 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 yada. Whatever. Why am I doing this podcast tonight by myself? Well, it's very simple. Brianne's upstairs. She is working on. She's still, y'all, she's 2 classes away after this class from finishing her master's degree in history. She's fantastic. She's so freaking smart. And quite frankly, I don't know why she's with me, but we're, what, 8 or 9 years into this one. Hold on now. 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We're in our 9th year, 21. Is that crazy? See, time goes by so fast you lose count. That's just being a husband, terribly irresponsible husband. Yeah, we're losing. We're using another lens. We're using a 16 to 35. I know you don't care, but for those guys who like gear, like to talk about conversating about gear and cameras and stuff like that. I mean, it's a cool lens. We've got it pulled in, dialed in probably at like 35 millimeters. Get a little bit more wider range of view pertaining to this podcast or whatever. But I've got about 3 or 4 things I still need to do to complete this room. So like behind the camera, if you could only see, it's about 75% done. The wall's up. It's a fantastic wall. It's been sanded. It's just ready for paint. And I have pretty much 2 half gallons, which will make a gallon. Sorry. I'm a nerd. It'll make a gallon of paint that we're going to put on that wall. It's going to be white. And we're going to put 2 chairs there for me and Brianne to have our official just presentation mode podcast with 2 lights that are going to be mounted in the ceiling, 45-degree angle to get us nice and lit up. We're going to have our logo, Noble, I think it's a Noble Photo logo, is going to be behind us on the wall, and we're going to have like a little coffee table in the middle. It's going to be fun. We're going to have so much fun doing it. What we plan on doing when it finally goes live and we got it where we like it, we're going to order some more equipment. I know Brianne's like, how much more equipment do we need to do this? Like, bear with me. We're going to order a Rodecaster Pro, I think it's called. It's a podcast utility thing, and basically you can receive phone calls as you're doing it, and that's it's really cool. I'm very happy to be able to be doing that, and we'll let some people call in and ask questions and stuff about photography. We won't let them. We'll ask them to. We don't let anybody do a thing. So want to make a little plug right now pertaining to our, I think 63 weddings we've booked for 2021. We have 2 weddings this weekend. We have around 13 or 14 people on our, I think it's our Monday app, which basically shows when people are going to be working for us and with us. I got to stop the whole working for us thing. I completely hate that. Working with us to get brides the best quality photography that money can buy. And oh man, we're just so pleased. We're going to be training 2 photographers this Saturday and kind of showing them the ropes and showing them how to manage a wedding from cradle to grave, from the moment we get there and say hi to you, sweet thing, Miss Future former Voracek. Voracek, I can't. Your name is gonna change soon. So it's just a process. The whole wedding photography game it's a process, and I know that I've said a lot of photographers play games of brides, but this is a game that I love to talk about from the standpoint of it's a very unique day, photographing a wedding. And you need to have an order of attack, you need to have an order of service, all those wonderful things, and know when you are going to be doing what. Like, you don't want to go to a wedding flying by the seat of your pants, not having a clue what's going on, because that is probably one of the most dangerous things you can ever do. You need a shot list. You need to know when things are going to happen. You need to know when you're going to, and this is primarily just for photographers. You need to know when you're going to move. You need to know when you're going to eat. You need to know if you are eating. You need to know if you're going to, you're going to shoot. You need to have an order of attack. And I know that's a rabbit and getting off on a tangent, but it's just, you need to know what's happening on the day of the wedding. And brides that are watching this, you gotta have a plan. You gotta have an order of attack. If you go into your wedding day thinking that it's just gonna go by, it's gonna be wonderful, nobody's gonna, it's gonna fall apart. It's gonna fall apart. I mean, you can spend $10,000, you can spend 50, 60. I've been to some weddings. I've shot some weddings where they've spent over $100,000 on the wedding. And some people are like, "Oh, look, you're full of that." No, we have, and. You want to private message me? We'll have a conversation. That's just not smoke blowing up your nose. It's happened, and it's scary, especially when brides and families are paying that much money for a wedding. And some people will be like, "Well, that's crazy. That's crazy," and you can feel that way. They might be thinking, "Well, that's crazy to spend $10,000." Everybody has a plan. Everybody has an order of attack. Everybody has things they value, things they don't value. Like some people would be like, "Hey, I don't care too much about the food, but I love the photography. I love the videography, but I don't really care about the food. I just want that awesome video and stuff." Communication is key. And if you don't communicate with your wedding professional, whether it be a caterer, whether it be a cake baker, I'll talk about that in a second, things are going to fall apart. Getting back to cake baking, we've been at some weddings before, actually 2 weddings. We have been at 2 weddings where the cake didn't arrive until after the ceremony or a couple minutes before the ceremony. Can you imagine how that bride felt not knowing whether or not her cake was or wasn't going to arrive? We've been at some weddings where the cake never arrived, and we had to make some quick decisions, contact the most fabulous, fantastic grocery store known as Publix to get cakes to said wedding. And Publix, you are amazing. You are so amazing. You always have been amazing. I remember going down to the beach with a family when I was younger and going to Publix thinking, this is the coolest thing ever. You walk in there and you'd immediately feel good about your life because it was so clean, it was so tidy, people cared about their jobs and stuff, and yeah, there's that. But you gotta have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you should just cancel. You should. You cannot fly by the seat of your pants on your wedding. And that goes for the grooms and the brides. You gotta know when things are happening. It's not the photographer's job to plan your day. It's your job to work with your photographer to plan your day with them. We can't just tell you the way things are gonna be. We can give you advice and what usually happens at weddings, or we can talk to your planner. It's great to have a planner. If you don't have a planner, you don't have the money to provide, a planner, then have somebody that's, really Lulu on duty, like an aunt or an uncle that can really crack the whip, if you will, and tell people where to be at what time and get things done. Because there's a certain way to treat people and there's a certain way not to treat people. Usually most wedding planners are just easy to get along with. They're happy, they're beautiful, they're kind. But if you have some family members that are kind of just thrown into it, they can't be all chipper because they're kind of freaked out, because if they mess something up, then they feel like that's on them, and that's just not fair. Really plan it in advance, your day and what's going to happen. What is going to happen? How do I see this? And also, and I'm talking a whole lot, and I hope you're hearing and listening all these wonderful things, but your expectation versus reality is the most important thing to understand pertaining to your day. Like, your expectations are here, and the reality might be right here. It's never going to match up. Now, it could be totally different, and your reality could blow out of the water and be crazy, or it could be It could be bad. It could be real bad. Like, your cake doesn't show up, or your cake's not the cake you wanted, or your flowers aren't the flowers that you had envisioned. We have things in our mind sometimes that we want, that we can see, and maybe it's hard for us to communicate to our wedding professional as, what it is that we want to have, and a vision. And you got to find people that get your vision. But the first thing in all this is chemistry. And if you don't have chemistry with your wedding professional, you don't have chemistry with the people at your wedding on the wedding day, then things are going to go kind of south. Also, picking bridesmaids. I've been to several weddings where there have been bridesmaids who were picked out of obligation and not picked out of, this hits home, sorry guys, but out of obligation and not out of, I just picked you because I want you to be in my wedding. Will you please be there? And it was kind of like, you better pick me. And we've shot over 150 to 200 weddings. We've seen all kinds, but you've got to have people in your wedding party that irrevocably support you in everything that you want. If you say, hey, you know what, I'm going to wear a black sock and a white sock, your best man's going to be like, you're an idiot, but if that's what you want, go for it, because it's your wedding day. Or the bride says, hey, I want to wear my dress a certain way. I want it to be on my shoulders right here and not right there. A great bridesmaid or a maid of honor is going to be like, hey, yada, 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 because they get you, you get them, your crazy matches their crazy matches your crazy, and you're going to communicate, and you're going to find out, hey, maybe this is not the best option. It happens, trust me. It's just important to communicate, and I keep saying it because communication is key. I mean, it's what we're doing right here. We're having a conversation, one directional, not unidirectional, but one directional, conversation about weddings, and it's just straight communication. And some people, vendors, brides, may disagree with some of the things that I say, and that's totally fine. We're all human. We're entitled to each person's opinion. That's just like politics. You can vote this way, it's okay. You vote that way, that's fine. You want to stay right here, that's fine too. But never hold somebody 100% responsible for how they feel about weddings, especially if it's a vendor. People do want to do it their way, and a certain vendor might attract a certain kind of clientele. Another vendor might attract another kind of clientele. But you've got to find the vendor that matches what you are and gets you from the moment you contact them and say, hey, could I get some package information? And that takes me to the next thing. Okay, so like if you're a bride and like you message a vendor, the last thing a vendor wants to hear, my arm just popped, wow. The last thing a vendor wants to hear is, I need your packages. Because while you're going to show them your packages and you're going to tell them all these wonderful things pertaining to what you do, what you offer, prices and things of that nature, you really need to connect to said bride. Said bride needs to connect to vendor over the phone. That's what we do. Like if you don't have a conversation on the phone, then there's the door. We can't do business. We have to understand where you're coming from. We got to see if there's chemistry there. If there's not chemistry there, we have to move somewhere else. And that's how every vendor should approach every wedding. You may not be the best fit for us. We may not be the best fit for you. There will be others. There will be other brides. But chemistry is very important, and for us, chemistry is established within the first 10 to 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds, maybe even a minute of having a conversation on the phone. We got to have that phone conversation. We've got 3 inquiries right now that we've sent our phone number to 3 brides, and if you're watching, call us. But we're not going to do business with you over a text. I mean, we can say you need to call us, and if you don't want to call us, then you're going to have to look somewhere else, because let's throw this into a real life scenario. Like, what if I showed up to the day of your wedding? You've never had a conversation with me before. You've never watched any of our live videos. You don't know anything about me or anything about our company or what our company stands for. You haven't done your research. You just hired a photographer to show up and take pictures. The pictures are not gonna be what they could be if you had established some chemistry, invested into that photographer, invested into his or her brand, and shuck some corn, man. That's an analogy for get it done. Get the conversation going, get the dialogue going. So you can have a monologue, and you can stand up there and you can be like, listen, this is the kind of bride that I want to do business with. And as the bride, this is the kind of photographer that I want to do business with. Do not allow, the money side of a photographer attract you, whether that they're really, really, really inexpensive or they're just crazy expensive. And you're like, well, they're crazy expensive, then they got to be worth it because they're so expensive, and they may see that they're worth this much. And that's totally fine. But at the same time, maybe they won't fit your chemistry. Maybe you're somebody who believes in, getting the most out of a dollar and not just splurging and just throwing money at stuff to fix things. Notoriously speaking, you cannot fix something with money. People say you can, but when it's all said and done, you can't just throw money at a problem and fix it. You got to address the problem, face to face it, and fix it. That's my 2 cents. Because that's all I got in my pocket. But we're going into, oh my goodness, 15 minutes of this vlog. They say this podcast. They say that these cameras, the camera that I'm using now, will overheat at like 20 to 30 minutes, and I'm seeing no indication on the camera that it's overheating. So we're 16. We're 16 minutes in on the Canon R5 recording high quality 4K. So I think we're good. So, our 2021 package still holds true. 2 photographers, 1 videographer. Let's see here, 8 hours of shooting. It's going to be a great day. We're also going to do your engagements. That's included. I'm getting messages on my computer here from Brianne. I'll message you in a second, babe. I'm being recorded. I'm recording right now. This is crazy. I'm talking to you like it's live. This is not live. But what's great about that deal, that $2,800 deal, is you're getting 3 people and also getting a video. That 5 to 7 minute video is a huge deal. It's not going to show the ceremony. It's going to show portions of the ceremony, but it's not going to be a ceremony recording the whole thing separately. That's not going to happen in 2021 unless we have worked out an agreement. You've paid a little extra and whatnot. Now, that same package for 2022 is going to be $3,200. So it's a $400 increasement. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, $400 increasement, and you're gonna get the same thing. But in 2022, that package is gonna have the ceremony separately recorded, so you get it. So that's the difference. We really pushed the photo video hybrid package because we think that it just makes sense in this community. It makes sense in this wedding community. So we're proud of it, and we're also proud of the work that we get to do and the brides we get to meet. And if you need a wedding photographer and you want a video, you're not wanting to blow the bank, give us a call. We'll be there for you. And I hope you've enjoyed this this podcast, this singular podcast. And we'll see you soon.